Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey. I am Rob, and Carter back here with me, and we are talking wine on this episode.
Oh yeah, talking some list.
Yeah, not some list. This is the list, right? Every year, Wine Spectator puts out their top 100 wines. And Carter, I thought it would be fun. You know, you and I are just two average wine guys. I mean, we might know more than some who drink wine, but we sure know a hell of a lot less than a lot of wine people.
I agreed.
And so I thought it'd be fun, just me and you. Let's just, without some professional sitting here that maybe understands more than us or can, you know, what the makeup of this list is or how it should be read and applied for the average consumer, for you and I to go through and talk about it, talk about the wines on the list, what the list means to us, how we kind of apply this list to what we may or may not buy.
Okay.
And just kind of dissect it a little bit. Maybe we'll come up with some questions that neither one of us have the answer to, and then maybe we'll make a list of those questions, get a wine person on, and see if we can get some answers for our listeners who we think are probably mostly average wine drinkers like us.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, there's a couple of things that kind of shout out to me on the list, as in, like, okay, I expected that to be on there. And
you kind of skimmed over most of the winners here.
Most of the winners here, yeah.
Okay.
So there's a couple things that are on there that I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But there's some things on here like the number one wine.
A little shocker.
Yeah. I mean, the Schrader Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon Oakville Double Diamond. I don't know what Double Diamond means, but anyway, it's got a 94-point score, and it is the number one wine on the list.
So that's something I definitely want to get into because, well, and we'll get into that in just a second. Let's start here. This is the top 100 wines put out by Wine Spectator. And here's what they say to everybody who starts to look at this list. They say each year, Wine Spectator editors survey the wines reviewed over the previous 12 months and select our top 100 wines based on quality, value, availability, and excitement. This annual list honors successful wineries, regions, and vintages around the world. So hope you'll find the top 100 from 2022 back to the debut year. Oh, no, here you'll find every top 100 list. Okay, so yeah, you can click the arrow is what they're telling you back to 1988. But anyway, that's kind of the criteria. They did it based on quality, value, availability. I don't know what percentage excitement kind of plays into, you know, that's hype, right?
Yeah,
you know,
I guess so.
Some things get hype that don't always deserve hype.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So I'm wondering, you know, kind of. So I thought you and I would go through the list, see if we know. I mean, if we know things that are on this list. I did watch a couple of YouTube shows where they reviewed, you know, kind of talked about what was in the top 10. I haven't looked at the whole list yet. I know you just now. I printed out 2 copies. We just started looking at them. I know I was doing a couple things, but I'm curious just to see, is there anything we know, maybe anything we've had, and anything that, you know, maybe we've heard of that we definitely want to try after, you know, seeing it on this list. I also want to get into what does this list mean to you and me and the average wine person? What are we supposed to do with this? Take this and do what? This is their list, but is there some value to the consumer for reading this list?
Probably. And I think as somebody who knows a little bit about wine, that it's a good list from the perspective of like, oh, I wouldn't even think about that. Maybe I should give that a try. You know,
Yeah.
I think from that perspective, I think it's a good thing.
Is that specifically a region, or are you talking about specifically a wine?
Just specifically a wine or something
okay.
like that. You know, that like I've noticed here, like just on the number one, I know Schrader Cellars. I mean, I'm familiar with the wine. I just had no idea that it would rank number, like any of their offerings would be number one wine overall.
I'm going to be honest. I vaguely have heard of them. In conversations, people mentioning it, whatever. I've never had an offering of theirs. I looked up after this and saw that there are some 16 and 17 vintages around town here in Houston that you can go buy at big box stores. But yeah, let's do that. Let's start there. Let's just rattle off what were the top 10, and then we'll dive into the rest of the list. It was interesting to me seeing the top 10, Carter, because here's what I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
I don't understand how a wine, let me give you a couple of examples. The number 10 wine, Louis Roederer, this is Cristal, the champagne, 98 points, $359 a bottle. It is a vintage, so it's 2014, but $359 a bottle, 98 points.
Yep.
As you just said, the number 1 wine is 94 points. $80 a bottle. So as a consumer, am I supposed to take this list and go, well, why would I ever spend that much on Cristal when I can get, 5 bottles of, or 6 bottles of this one at $80, and it's the number 1 wine versus this one. But the Cristal is 98 points. This one's 94. How can the 94 outrank the 98? I don't know how you take these. What's the criteria?
I definitely get your point. There's got to be some balance between value and ranking and availability. Maybe I don't know.
It's always been my question: do they rank wines based on price? So are all $300 wines ranked against each other, and then all $80 wines ranked against each other, or is this saying that number 1 wine at $80 is better than the number 10 wine? I mean, by the rankings, you would say it is.
Yeah, just the pure rankings, yeah. But maybe that's the factor of, wow, this number 1 wine is only $80, and it hits way above its price point.
Okay, based on that, number 3 is 96 points, 2 points higher, and $78, $2 less.
I don't know.
I don't either. So as a consumer, if there's any wine people out there who know how this is structured and how it's weighted to give these kind of final scores, because as a consumer, I'm trying to figure out, how do I know which ones you want to buy and try based on cost and rating,
right?
And then where they are on this list.
Yep.
So my criteria right now would be just cost and where they are on the list, not necessarily the score that they receive, because that doesn't seem to matter as much.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Like some of these on here, I'm like, okay, that's it. Okay, you've got Cristal on here. Cool. Cristal's good. 2014, I know, was a great vintage for champagne. Makes sense why it's on the list. Chateau Beaucastle. We both love Chateau Beaucastle. Chateauneuf du Pape. I can see why that's on the list. But then there's some kind of oddballs that are on there too that you just go, man, I'd never heard of that, before. And maybe that's why it made the list. It's because it's kind of an unknown and it competed well, maybe. I don't know, man.
And there's one that's missing that I would have thought would have been on this list every year. Sassicaia. And I don't know. Maybe the vintage didn't produce that year and they just didn't have.
Yeah.
Do anything with it. I don't know.
I always mispronounce it. Tignanello.
Tignanello.
Yeah. So.
And it's on here.
That's on there. I mean, it's well thought of wine, So, okay, fine. It's, it's actually number 5. The Vittoria, I've had their Brunello before, the number 2, and it's fantastic. Now, I've not had the 16. Maybe I have. I'm not sure. But it's fantastic. Consistently, and I'm not surprised that's on the list.
I am looking here because I'm looking at a wine. No, it's a different one. Okay. Because I also look at, for me being an average wine guy and a guy who's on somewhat of a wine budget, and I think most people are.
Yeah.
There's still some great, maybe better than great, some fantastic, what I would call values, if you can find these wines. And I'm assuming most of these, availability is part of their criteria. So I'm assuming these are produced at a big enough volume that you should be able to find them if you're in some kind of, major area or close to a major area.
I note one here that I saw earlier. San Felicia, it's the number 24, Chianti Classico. It's 92 points and it's $20.
Yeah.
That right there.
In the top 100, it's a top 25 wine.
Yeah, and it's $20.
$20.
You better bet your ass I'm going to be looking for that bottle.
Yeah.
Because
go two above that.
Yeah, you've got another Chianti Classico Reserva, or you've got a Chianti Classico Reserva right there.
22 rank, and 2018, 94 points, and it's $27.
Yeah, these are kind of more the things that I'm going to be looking for.
Yeah, I agree.
Stuff that's in the sub $40 range that's on the list. That's going to be some stuff that I'm going to try and jump on.
So I'm still trying to figure out. Let's just go through real quick. Like I said, the top 10. Number 1, you've mentioned it a couple times, is Schrader.
Yep.
And Schrader Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon Oakville Double Diamond, 94 points. The vintage is 2019, and it's $80 a bottle. Okay. Number 2, I'm going to let you tackle that one.
Vittoria di Barbera Brunello.
Brunello de Montalcino
Reserva,
which you and I love Brunello.
Oh yeah, and it's a 16. That was a great year. Not surprised that a Brunello from 16 is going to be on the list. Just flat out not surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more than one.
Yeah. Okay. So we got
a hefty price tag on that one though.
Yeah, $130. That's a lot.
Yeah, and number 3 was interesting to me. It's a Chardonnay from Napa Valley.
Yeah. What are we in, bottle shock or something right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting as well. You've got, I'm not very familiar with the brand HDV. Do you know that?
No, I do not know them.
But
obviously Hyde Vineyard is who it is.
Yeah.
2019 is the vintage, 96 points. And $78 a bottle. That's a pricey Chardonnay.
California Chardonnay for sure.
Because you can get some Burgundy, some white Burgundy for probably quite a bit less than
little bit less than that, yeah. Looks like we've got Chateau Talbot. We're looking at a Bordeaux here. So
now that's on my list. I want to try to find that. It's a top 5 wine.
And it's $65, so
95-point wine. That's an awesome deal right there.
Yeah, I'd buy a few of those, no doubt. The Tignella, we talked about that one already,
and that's on the list every year. This is in that super Tuscan region of Tuscany.
Yeah, and some of the biggies, like one of the big names that you hear about.
The next one shocked me, number 6.
Yeah, Robert Mondavi, Cabernet Sauvignon, Oakville, The Estates. It's an $85 bottle, but now that I'm looking at it, maybe I need to try that.
Yeah, and I'm going to say Robert Mondavi and that family, that producer did a lot of great things, especially out of Oakville. Back in the day, I can think of I used to have a few of the 2011 offerings, which I think were also very highly rated that year.
Yeah.
And they were fantastic. And then I think, they sold to a big conglomerate.
Yeah.
And maybe haven't been producing to the quality that they were capable of. But I think, I don't know exactly what's happened. Maybe a new winemaker, maybe something else.
Yeah.
I haven't dove into it. But something's obviously changed where they're back on the list and coming in at number 6 with a solid offering. And I know some people might go, Robert Mondavi, you see so many inexpensive wines from them that you sometimes might think lesser quality, but they do have some really quality vineyards and they have some quality fruit. So they should be able to put out some really quality wines. And this is, I think, an example of that. I'm like you. I'd like to try it.
Yeah, definitely. And we've talked about this before, like some particularly people who've been in wine for a little bit of time. They start thinking like, Robert Mondavi. I mean, come on, like,
barrel bourbon.
I'm not gonna buy that, or whatever. So I do think it is like a testament, though, that they still do make some really good wines.
Yeah, well, and I would say probably going back to making some really good wines.
Yeah.
I say they from the last 10 years, they've probably lost their way a little bit. That's just my opinion, because you haven't seen a lot of great wines from Robert Mondavi. Maybe they do, if you're a member or something that's exclusive and not distributed that well. But obviously, again, the criteria here is that this is available. So this is something they're putting out that's pretty good. So I'm interested to try that. I'm with you. That might be a dinner one night, and one of us have that bottle available if we can get it, and see what we think.
Yeah, I noticed that there was no Coppola Claret on the list.
It should be.
Yeah, it really should be.
Based on the findings of three experts.
Three real wine snobs.
Francis Coppola.
So Chateau Beaucastle next. Chateau Neuf de Pape. I mean,
We talked about that producer. We like them a lot. I have some 16s and 17s. I do have some 2006s that I just recently picked up.
Yep.
Somebody got them in and said, we just got these in, and they were $100 each. And I went, yeah, I'll take those. How many you got?
Okay, so
good producer, Chateau Neuf de Pape.
Good producer, not surprised here. This is
I will say I got mine, like I said, $100 a bottle. They're saying the average price about $121. It's a little bit of a spend.
No doubt.
For a Chateau
well,
Neuf.
I mean, considering what you can find on the shelf, I mean, you can spend $50 and get a really good quality Chateau Neuf.
And that's the thing. I think, if you spend more than your number of 50, because you can get great, and anywhere in Old World, you can get great offerings for around that $50 to $60 range. I think anything that you spend above that or want something, it's because of name and reputation.
Right.
They have a long history of doing quality bottles, and so you want to try something that they've produced. So maybe on a special, an anniversary or a birthday, you want to splurge and try something from a producer that has this long lineage of making great wines. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a splurge, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, they do make great wines. I do like their wines.
Love them.
I mean, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know this other Fattoria le
Pupilli? It's a Super Tuscan.
Super Tuscan. Not familiar with that one. $100. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a try.
96 points.
96 points. Pretty solid.
And forgive us, again, we are the average wine drinker. So anybody who's a wine person out there going, how do you not know Forterari,
right.
one of the best producers in, Tuscany. Okay, if you say so. we don't know.
Then you've got, let's see, Quilceda Creek Cabernet Sauvignon Columbia Valley.
95 points.
$200 though.
That is a big spend on a wine.
Holy moly.
I'm not sure how I feel about that one.
Yeah, I don't know that I can justify that.
I'm actually going to look them up.
And then rounding out the top 10, you've got the Cristal 2014 vintage. I would say 98 is about as close to perfect as you can get. And yeah, it's $360, but everybody kind of, generally speaking, knows the price of Cristal. It's not a cheap wine.
Right, and it's so well thought of, and it's number 10.
Yeah. But maybe there is some kind of balance between value and, rating and all that kind of stuff. Availability maybe is a factor. I'm not sure.
So that Columbia Valley at number 9, that Quilceda Creek, that's a Washington State one.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I was thinking Columbia Valley, and I went, wait, Could it be like, Chile or somewhere?
Washington State.
Never going to get, I will never, ever, I'll try that wine if you buy it, but I'll never put 200
No,
bucks
me
into
either.
that.
Me either. I mean, and not to be like a
Snob?
but I mean, $200 for a Washington State wine?
And I'm not knocking Washington State. I have tried some. I've just not been really impressed. It's not hit my palate in a way.
That's a big spend.
200 bucks.
That's kind of more of a gamble, in my opinion. Now, I don't know, maybe this Quill Seta is something super famous that we just don't know about, but I don't know.
I mean, obviously it's pretty good. I don't know a lot of Washington producers, so I'm not going to tell you I do, but I don't know what the history is with this, if they make great wines on a consistent basis, or is this a one-off that you just go, shit, this year they knocked it out of the park and it's really good.
Now, now just kind of going over the broader list, are there any certain...
so that's the top 10.
Okay, yeah, that's
but
the top 10.
let me just say this about the Colombian wine too. Or Columbia Valley, the Washington State wine. At $200, they must know what they have. This has to come from fruit and stuff that they deem is pretty good, because this comes out, this is the price before you get rated. Yeah. So it's already at that cost. So It's got to be good, but I just don't know about it. So I don't want to act like it's not a good wine at $200. I'm sure they know what they're doing. I just don't know anything about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's tons of fly under the radar wines that we probably just don't know about.
Yeah.
I would say that okay, and
so let's do what you just said. Go through and you start highlighting some things that interest you.
So I will say this one that I'm a fan of Schramsberg. Their general product offering, and because they do it in the traditional method, they make sparkling wine. Their Blanc de Blanc is, I've had it many times. It's really good. And for $41, I think we can even get it a little cheaper in Texas.
About $10 cheaper almost.
I think they're about 35.
Okay, I thought I saw 32. So
I mean,
maybe.
Yeah, but I mean that's one that you go, okay, cool. I've always liked it. I'm glad that it's on the list because I've always really liked it.
And it's number 19. Just to let everybody know where it is on the list. It's the top 25 wine.
And this is a 18 vintage. I guess I need to be looking out for those.
I didn't, you're exactly right. That gives Schramsberg a lot of credit, Again, not understanding exactly how these lists are put together, but they made the list. And not only did they make it, they're a top 25 wine.
Yeah.
So, you don't see a ton of sparklings on here. And so, kudos to them. They're doing something right.
On the list.
Yeah, I need to try them for sure.
There's a couple others that kind of are interesting. I'm
going to throw one out real quick while you're looking at it. Just going right outside the top 10, number 11. We got a right bank, Saint Emilion.
Bordeaux.
Chateau, yeah. So Chateau Beau Séjour Bicat, 95 points, 2019 vintage. It's ranked number 11 on this list. Mm-hmm. $61.
Yep.
I'll buy that.
I will buy that as well.
I will be looking for that, and I will buy that.
Yep. I think this is a good exercise for us to figure out what we want to go buy.
I don't think our wives are going to like what we want to buy.
Well, I don't know.
We got 100 here. I think we're going to find 30.
This $27 Chianti Classico Reserva, that's not really going to break the bank. And the $20 Chianti Classico, I don't think is going to break the bank.
And look at number 12. I don't know this Super Tuscan.
I don't either.
And I probably shouldn't call it a Super Tuscan, but it's from that same region.
Yeah.
The Bulgari region, or however you say that. Gradamaco.
Yep.
Bulgari Saporia.
Yeah.
2019, 97 points.
97 points that's up there.
$100 bottle. I mean, there's some other bottle. I would try that.
I'd try that. Well, to me, a good quality Super Tuscan, it can command $100 and above price.
The great Super Tuscans are above that. You're
Yeah,
150 for a Tiganillo. You're 200 plus for a Sassicaia. There are
Ornolia's up there.
Absolutely.
They've got,
So
but
that's actually a pretty good deal right there.
But there are Super Tuscans that are sub $100 that are pretty.
Yeah, I'm just
solid.
talking about in this kind of great category.
Yeah.
And I'm putting that in that kind of elite category because it's number 12 on this list and 97 points. So I'm giving it some.
One that I don't know, but I guess I need to try is this McPrice Myers Beautiful Earth Paso Robles for $45.
Curious what the varietals, are there.
I'm guessing that's a blend.
I would guess. I'm wondering if it's a GSM blend, which would be kind of cool.
That'd be sick.
Because Paso's doing a lot of those now. Some of those, anyway.
This. Okay, so here we go. And number 13, the Sauvignon Blanc.
So I'm going to let you talk about that one.
Okay.
It's a region. New Zealand's hard for me to get behind. The big grapefruit there, I'm working. I'm not giving up on the region, but it's not one that strikes with me.
No, I like it.
Okay.
I like that big grapefruit note on there. And I don't know this wine, but for $23, I think it's worth the risk.
You're going to go introduce yourself?
Yeah. I mean, and Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand isn't traditionally very expensive or anything like that.
And they're good producers overall. It's just a style that, is not typically, to my liking. But I'm trying to work, get to a point where I can appreciate them and like them a little bit more, to be honest with you. I buy some.
I would really like to give this a try. So we'll see.
Yeah. Go to the next one. Have you ever had it? Number 14 on this list.
Philip Tagani, Cabernet Sauvignon. No, but I mean, it's $150, so that's going to be tough for me.
Yeah, I'll tell you that I've had his offerings, his Cabernets, and they're fantastic. Really, really good. And in the last 4 years, I haven't probably had one in the last couple of years, it's doubled in price.
Must be doing something right, I guess.
Yeah, I think part of that is when, supply and demand, right? Everybody wants your stuff, then you can start charging more for it.
So where is Yarra Valley?
Australia.
Oh, okay. So we've got Pinot Noir from Yarra Valley that's on here. That's one that was interesting to me.
Yeah, remember I talked about on a previous episode that's a region next year I want to get into.
Okay, so that's cool. That's cool.
And not a bad price for a Pinot, $40, 94 points.
Yeah. I mean, I'd give it a shot.
Now, we do need to say the name of the wine, which is kind of an unusual name. But
Giant Steps?
Giant Steps, Pinot Noir from Yarra Valley.
Interesting. Okay, so what is this number 21 wine? Where is this from? Vina Monte Syrah?
Chile.
Is that Chile?
I think so.
Because $20 for that?
And it rates...
it's a 93-point wine.
93.
Yeah, I might have to look into that. I mean, man, anything that...
Santa Cruz, Chile.
All right, so anything that is $20 is usually a miss, right? Like $20 and under. We kind of have that rule. Right?
People are listening to this going, you rich snobs.
Well,
$20
I'm just saying,
is a good price point.
Okay, and there are some good offerings at that, but we generally speak okay, it's a good porch bounder or something like that.
I would say, well, if I'm trying to read your mind, we love $20 wines that punch up.
Yeah,
so we're finding a $20 priced wine that we think is probably based on this criteria, these ratings. It's probably one that we might pay $40 for, but it's only $20. Is that what we're saying?
Yep, that's. And then here we got another one on here that I'm very interested in. Okay, so we've got a Malbec that's a 92 rank or a score. Finca de Cerro Malbec. Agrello Remolinos Vineyard, and it's $22.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth trying, right?
I mean, you're not going to be like. I mean, just think about this list, right? I mean, we've got this.
Now, this is obviously Argentinian.
Yeah. But if you think about it on the list, right? I mean, our number 9 wine is $200, and it's from Columbia Valley in Washington.
Doesn't get you excited.
This Malbec for $22 being on the list gets me excited.
Gets you excited. I'm with you, man. I'm 100% with you.
So that's pretty cool. Just looking at some other things here. Okay. There's a Riesling on the list that I would be interested in that. Dr. H. Thans. Oh gosh, don't get me speaking German. Muller Bugreff. I don't know. Anyway, somebody's gonna make fun of me for that.
Not me.
Jeez, man.
I'm just as bad. Here's my disappointment with, and I get it. I know we've said it so many times on the show, but man, I would love to try more Pinot from Oregon and different places. But man, look at the Sonoma Valley Pinot. It's a 95 point, but it's $100, $98.
I'm not going to do that.
25.
I'm not going to spend that.
No, and then you've got the Burn Cottage Pinot Noir from Centro Otago Burn Cottage Vineyard. It's $65. I don't know where that's from.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will I will mention, because we are fans of this winery,
Okay.
is that number 54 on the list, Schoolhouse Pinot Noir Spring Mountain District.
Oh, is it on here?
Is yep, it's on there, number 54.
Oh, let me go to the next page.
And I have had their Pinot Noir, and it's fantastic.
Really?
Yep. And I'm not a Pinot Noir fan, as you know.
I do like their Zinfandel.
Their Zinfandel's real good too. But they've got it at $65. I'm willing to bet that you can get a deal on this online for less than $65.
Yeah.
Because they do case deals and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So that one was on there. I noticed that.
So that other Pinot that I was telling you about is actually from New Zealand, that Burn Cottage.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Another New Zealand. Wow. Well, we had Australian, and then we've had New Zealand, right?
We had 2 New Zealands because we had that Sauvignon Blanc that you said you're going to try for $25.
New World stuff.
Yeah. Trying to see. Okay, have you ever had Boscarelli Vino Noble de Montepulciano?
So, okay, that popped up.
It's number 31.
Yep, I've not had it.
The open one. I don't have. I may have that vintage, but I have some of those. I'm not sure if it's that vintage, the Reservas, but they're fantastic wines. That producer is really, really good.
Okay, and it's a 16. We all know 16 was a good year.
In Europe, all over, everywhere, yeah.
So, okay, makes sense.
I'm also interested in number 32.
Yeah.
We like Zinfandel.
We do.
That's a pretty solid number 32, $42, 94 point wine.
Okay.
Pretty interesting there.
We're just making personal notes here, guys. Of things to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, I don't know. Field blend. There's a field blend that made a top 100, number 35 from Sonoma Valley. It's a Buckland Ancient Field Blend. And, a field blend, you know what that is, right? It is what it sounds like. They just plant different vines in the vineyard.
Yep.
They all just kind of grow in amongst themselves, and then they just pull them all off, harvest them, and make a wine.
Yep.
I have, I left that fridge open.
Well, I'll go.
Thank you.
Go shut it. Yeah.
I have one in there from Gerard that is a version of kind of like that. I'm assuming this is a field blend of all black grapes,
You would think.
You would think. But theirs is called Mixed Blacks, so it's kind of the same idea. One of these nights we need to open that. I don't know if you've ever had that, have you?
No, I have not. No.
So we'll definitely have to try that with you. That's interesting. That makes me go, that's kind of cool that style of just a filled blend, made the top 100. And it's $38, dude. For
that's
a 94
not bad.
point wine.
Considering it, would you consider it like a single barrel wine in a way?
Yeah, I guess you kind of could, huh? Because coming from just single vineyard, I guess
single vineyard, kind of a one-off type wine.
Well, and it's intentional. They're doing it that way, so it's interesting.
That is interesting.
I don't see anything else on that, 5 to 35 page. That there is a $17 wine, another Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, 91 points. But see there again, it's 91 points. $17 and made the top 100 is at 27. And then if you look at a wine like number 66, it's a 96 point wine and it's not even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't get how.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, it's all over the place. So I don't know how the points, it's a show. We need to get a wine person on to make us understand or get us to understand how do the point systems work and how you should apply it. Because I feel like in today's world, the point scale is a 10-point scale. It's 90 to 100.
Yeah.
Because nobody's buying any wine. When's the last time you went to a store and saw an 89 or 87 or 88 point wine? Everything's 90 to 100.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, man.
So it's kind of a joke, to be honest with you.
So one that is kind of speaking to me right now is number 61. It is a Barbera.
Oh, yeah.
For $20.
Pizza wine.
Yeah.
What number is it?
61.
Okay. Yep.
Damalino. D'Asti.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge Barbera fan, though. I love Barbera.
I do too.
So that would be something like, looking at this. Okay, cool. $20 sounds like a wine that I could buy a whole lot of and have a good time.
What's disappointing to me, and you might feel similarly, I feel like we drink and try a lot of different wines through the course of a year.
Yes.
And I've not seen one on here yet that I've had. And I thought and hoped I would see a handful that I could go, oh, I've had that.
I mean, you haven't had a bunch of Cristal?
Unfortunately, no. But I heard it's pretty
that's
good.
A shame. I've really drank gallons of that this year.
Of course you have. I'm going to tell you that 42 interests me a bunch.
Okay. Yeah, that would interest me also.
So it's a Crow's Hermitage. So we're talking from the Northern Rhone.
Northern Rhone.
$92.
Or 92
Excuse
points.
me, 92 points.
$32.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Yes.
And it's number 42.
Yep.
Top 50 wine from this year. Here's a Barbaresco. Number 40.
Yeah, I see that. Boy, it's spendy though. $86.
Boy, it is spendy. It's a Reserva.
Yeah, I mean, you're in Barolo territory there though, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Barbaresco, some of those get right up there with Barolo.
Yeah.
But you got another Columbia Valley. I mean, Washington State making a boom. Number 41.
Getting a bunch of love.
Look at the price on that one, though.
Jesus.
I would try that one at $28.
Me too.
Well before the one for $200.
Yeah, 28 versus 200. Yeah, sign me up for that one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the one that I need to try.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you could convince me maybe to buy the other one.
And then if you go two spots above that, you're back in Walla Walla Valley with more Washington State wine for 96 points. This is a Syrah called Horsepower, and it's $122.
Jeez.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's not taking long for Washington State to compete with California on who can have the bigger cost.
Okay, I got one for you that I'm looking at on the list that I would like to try.
Okay.
It's a Gigondas.
Ooh.
Domaine Le Bussière.
What number? I see it.
46.
Yeah.
$30, 94 points.
I'm all over that.
Yeah, I'm in on that. You know I'm a Grenache fan.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a blend. GSM.
Yep. So that looks really interesting.
2 down from that is a Riesling I would love to try.
$19 too. Oh, yeah. Cool. August Kessler Riesling, whatever.
Interesting.
My goodness. Yep.
There's a Poulet Foussouet on here.
I see that.
Number 65.
Yeah.
$37, 91 points.
There you go.
And there's your port. I like fortified. I want to get more into fortified.
Porto.
Yeah, on number 66 is a port.
Sweet.
$85. I'm wondering if that's a tawny port or a ruby port.
Yeah.
And I don't see any age statement on here, so I don't think it's a...
Now that I'm getting to the kind of last page of this thing here, and at this point I'm probably thinking to myself, what's a value that's sitting on this list?
Yeah, so let's look at this page from 90 or 67 to 100. That's kind of where we're at.
Yep.
Let's start with number 100. So 100 is the most expensive wine on the entire list.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 95 points. It's DVO from Napa Valley. I don't know what DVO is.
No clue.
95 points, $300 is the price tag for that bottle.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I won't try that unless I go to Todd Carlson's house.
Yeah, maybe Canfield. Yeah, it's one of these guys that has money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go for that. But I'm looking at here.
There are from top to bottom some really good values on this page as far as price to try.
Yeah, no doubt.
Anything jump out at you first? 69, good number. Jumps out at me right away.
The Merlot.
I love a Merlot.
Me too.
I don't know this producer at all.
Me either.
Luke Merlot makes me think that's a Washington wine.
Probably.
But it's $25.
So at $25, it's worth taking the risk.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it should be. Let's see where this is. I think it sounds like a Washington wine, doesn't it?
It really does.
Walluk Slope, AVA. Part of the Columbia Valley. It is Washington. Look at them, though. More Washington wine making the top 100.
Man, there's a ton on the list, isn't there?
So Merlot is a grape that I enjoy quite a bit.
As do I. Yeah, no sideways.
Yeah. 70s and old vines. I don't know what that is. It must be some kind of blend.
I'm guessing.
Afacina Godella Validoras. So I'm guessing Chile or Argentina.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You know what I was hoping? We might see like a Mexico wine make the list because Mexico's been kind of up and coming with a lot of wines.
They have been, yeah.
That might be a
future episode.
I
maybe?
think so. Why not?
All right, so my goodness, there's still some really expensive wines on this page too.
Yeah, 105 for Chateauneuf de Pape.
Yeah,
$100 for Etude, and I like Etude. They make a nice Pinot Noir.
Yeah, they do.
I used to get for about $35. I think it's up to about 60 now.
Man, but $100—that's a lot.
Other big priced ones on here: $95 for Dakota Shy, which is Napa Valley.
Napa
Valley.
Yeah, I mean,
You got a Tokai on here.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a dessert wine.
Dessert wine, which is cool.
$20.
$20. You can be in on that, right?
I wonder if that's a 375. Might be.
My guess is yes.
Holy shit, I didn't even see this one. VHR, and again, I don't know who that producer is. Cabernet Sauvignon from Oakville.
Woo! $250. That is a lot of money.
My Lord, you're up there with, Pritchard Hill and stuff.
Oh, my gosh. There's a Beaujolais on here.
Where's the Beaujolais?
Oh, well, never mind. It's a Chablis.
I'm curious on this companion wine company, Sunny B. Oliver's Vineyard, Edna Valley in Australia.
Okay.
$11 for 375, so $22. 375 tells me it's got Edna Valley. I think about Riesling's coming from there.
Yeah.
So it makes me think that it's a sweeter wine, probably, and that's why it's in the 375. I'm curious on that one if we can find it.
And yeah, man.
Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir for $60, 93 points.
Yep.
I'm just disappointed that there's 100 wines on this list, and there's 100 that I haven't drank.
Very little sparkling.
Very little sparkling. We had the Schramsberg, we had the Cristal, and that's it.
That's about it. I might be missing something, but
Oh yeah, here's another one. Gaston Chiquette Brut Champagne Tradition non-vintage, $44. I'm guessing that's probably a California Brut. Gaston Chiquette.
I do not know, but
86, number 86.
Number 86. Well, I mean, if it's saying Champagne, then it's going to be France, right?
No, Champagne Tradition.
Okay, I see.
So I'm guessing California, but I'm going to look it up. And we shall see.
Yeah, just not a whole lot of sparkling on the list, though.
Which, I guess if you looked at the wine consumption, kind of ratio-wise, I mean, I don't think there's probably as much. I mean, we know there's not as much sparkling and champagne consumed as red wine and white wine.
Right.
So makes sense. If you ask me, I could probably come up with, and I know Chris Ruland could be the same way, and he might have a top 100 of all champagnes, but I could probably think of 3 or 4 that I've had this year that I, argue that could be in this list.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Who's the one we were looking at?
It was the what was the number on it? It's
here it is. No.
86 Gaston.
That's what it was.
Clicquot. Yep. Okay. $44 though. That's not bad. Not a bad price point.
Oh, I think it might be champagne, dude.
Yeah. When I see Clicquot or Cliquette,
Chiquette. Chiquet.
Chiquette?
Yeah.
Chiquette? Maybe. I don't know. That seems Frenchy to me.
Yeah, it is. It's a Premier Cru Cuvée Tradition Brut. This is 40% Pinot Meunier. Meunier. 35% Chardonnay and 25% Pinot Noir. And this was a non-vintage.
Nice.
Yeah, $44. Okay, so it is champagne. So that's kind of cool. If there's another champagne on the list.
Yeah, no doubt.
You and I, our journey in 2022, we dove deeper into the world of champagne, and
glad we did.
Really glad we did. So that's about it for me that I see, Carter.
Yeah, man. I think it's at least we got the highlighter out and marked a few things. I think that's what's good about these lists is that you take these lists and you mark some things that, hey, that's a good price point. That's something I'm willing to try.
Yeah, and everybody's budget's different. So,
Yeah.
You got a big budget, go for the big boys and check them out. These are, top 100 wines. But I think most people are looking for that value. Where can we get a really good quality wine for a good cost? And I got to tell you, if there's one thing every year I will say about the top 100 from a cost standpoint, because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of wines that are well above a lot of these price points. So for a lot of these to be on here that are sub $50, sub $40, that's great. That's a lot for the average consumer to be able to go out and get an opportunity to try. Provided you can find these.
Yeah, I'm interested in this Bordeaux, the number 4. I'd like to pick up some of that.
Yeah, I agree with you. What is that, like $65?
$65. Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, obviously the sky's the limit on Bordeaux.
I'm also noticing I like Nebbiolo.
Yeah.
And there's this Beccaccino Nebbiolo Longhi, 90 points, but $28.
Yeah.
Or actually $25, 90 points.
Nice.
I'd be willing to try. Chardonnay from Monterey County. I'd be interested in that for $20. I've been trying to get more into Chardonnay.
Yeah. I've had some recently that I really liked.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had some, but it's been more Chablis or white Burgundy.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get some from, Monterey. I know is a good producer of Chardonnay, or thought to be a good producer of Chardonnays.
Yeah.
Over in that region. I think also getting into Australia has some good Chardonnays.
Wow, a Pinot Grigio made the list. Did you see that?
No, which number?
Number 44.
How'd you miss that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Pinot Grigio, but if it made the list, I'll give it a try.
$25.
I'll give it a try.
Give it a shot.
Interesting.
See what you think.
Wow. Okay. Very enlightening, this list. Very enlightening.
Takeaways. I'm still confused as all get out as to how this list is compiled. Because, again, as we just said, the average person would say the most expensive wines are the best wines. So all the most expensive wines in the world, whatever they are,
it should
get your
be
top 100
150 and above wines.
You would think.
Yeah, all over the list.
So if that's not the case, there's some criteria being applied that we just don't understand, and I would love to be educated on that because I'd like to know how this works, because these wines, to your point, there were a few that were ranked very high that are, less than $75.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot here that we need to explore, for sure.
So
I guess the list can be a good thing. I mean, if you're talking, a $30- spin, and it's on this list, then maybe it's worth it.
Yeah, I would say this list is for people who enjoy wine, going out and exploring, as we do.
Yeah.
We're always looking for new things to try and fun things. And, taking a chance on something, getting home and being disappointed sucks. So if there's a list that can kind of guide you to say, we already know. We've done the work. These are really good wines, and you can take them home and try them for $17 to $50.
Right.
I'm more inclined to use this list to try to do that and find some things that I enjoy. And I think what you get from that is, you find a producer that you may like, and then you explore their portfolio a little bit. But you also go, okay, if that producer's doing good in that region, then let me explore that region too.
Yeah.
So I think that there's, a few things that you can get from this list as you explore the bottles that are here to kind of broaden what you're doing in wine, what you're drinking in wine, to continue to kind of, the term we always like, Carter, the wine journey.
The wine journey.
Yeah.
The journey.
Your takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that I'm gonna go look for on this list. My thought is, hey, some of the lower spend items, what the heck? Let's give it a go. There's so many wines. There's just so many wines. It's impossible really to learn everything.
Yeah, I'll be curious. I think we're pretty lucky in the market we're in that we get, what I think is access to pretty good, wines. We have a good selection of wines to pick from. I'm going to be curious to take this list, me and you, and see how many of these can we actually find.
Yeah.
Because we're in what we think is a pretty good market.
I bet we can find a good number of them. I'm sure we can't find all of them, but probably a good number here in Houston. Now, other markets may be a little bit different. But, you know, that's just part of the journey, man.
Here's one that just caught my list as I'm going down. It's 92 points, 2020 vintage. It's a Shiraz, so it's Syrah. I love it. And when you have a name like Mother's Milk.
Oh, I saw that one, yeah.
I want to try it.
Yeah, no doubt. Mother's Milk. My God. It's got to be good.
From our nipple to your lips.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, man.
Edit?
Nah.
Okay. I thought, you know, when I see the name Mother's Milk, I'm going, oh, that's a stout. You know, I'm thinking beer.
Milk stout. You know, or something
I'm
like
not
that.
thinking Shiraz, you know, as a raw.
No. Not at all.
Man, we talked about not very many brutes, and there are some. And I've seen another one now, a Blanc de Blanc is on
really?
here. Joseph Marie Ramvientos, and it looks like it's probably a cava, but it doesn't say cava. It's somewhere from just based on the name, it's Vino Espinoso. 91 points and a $23 little bubbly.
Oh, where's that? What number?
29.
29. Oh, 29. That's up there, man.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I'm seeing it now. That's got to be a cava.
I would think, based on the name, but it doesn't say cava, so maybe this is from Argentina or Chile or something.
I guess it could be, but,
yeah, let's look in there.
Wow, holy moly. I'll definitely look for that. $23.
This is us just kind of blowing through this list kind of quick to do this episode, but, you know, you really need to sit down and analyze a little bit because there's some good stuff on here worth, I think, you know, kind of finding and trying.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had the Mother's Milk in a long time.
I was going to say something, but I'm not.
Oh, man. Well, this has been fun, man. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, I thought it'd be good just to get on and talk about this list because I think for the average wine drinker out there, when you're looking for good wines and you don't know what to buy, this is at least a little guidance for you. You know, these are experts who have said these can't be bad wines, is my point.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go buy a wine, you get home, you go, well, that's not good. Here, you shouldn't have that. You know, if it's a varietal or a region that you like, you should be pretty safe in drinking. Now, if you're getting outside of your comfort zone to try something on this list that you never had before, you still could be disappointed because you're outside your comfort zone.
Or you go for the high price point item on the list, and then you go, not really for me, and I just spent $300 on that bottle, you know.
I always come back to, you know, I'm a pretty decent golfer, but I still don't play with Pro V1s because I can't tell the difference. Why am I going to spend $5 a golf ball? I'll spend my $2 all day long.
I feel you there.
So wine
I'm way worse than you are. So,
wine's kind of the same way, you know. I think, you know, there's a threshold. When you get over whatever it might be, $100, $125, you're just paying for it being exclusive or because it has some history and tradition more than you are the juice actually being way better than an $80 cab.
Yeah,
or $100
the actual
cab.
experience.
Yeah, so
yeah,
you get to say you're drinking whatever, first growth or whatever
right.
it might be. Yeah. Well, fun episode, dude.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Always enjoy talking anything food, wine, and whiskey.
Heck yeah, and I'm a fan of the grapes.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey. And until our next episode, enjoy your next pour.
Cheers, everybody.